I'm Wendy-Ann Clarke, and this is Color Commentary. Track athlete Caster Semenya's name has dominated headlines since losing her appeal against rules designed to decrease testosterone in female athletes with unusually high levels. The Court of Arbitration for Sport ruled that athletes like Semenya, who is reported to have an intersex condition called difference of sex development, will have to take medication to reduce testosterone if they want to compete in women's events between 400 meters and a mile. This decision specifically targets the events that Semenya competes in and has thrown the world into a tizzy over hormones and science and what really makes a woman and what makes a man. The story has become entrenched in gender politics, but if we look at the way in which this case has been handled since 2009, when she first burst onto the international scene, we see that so much of this has been about racism and the inhumane objectification of Black bodies. Regardless of where you stand in the gender controversy, if we talk about Caster Semenya and we don't first talk about the role of racism in all this, we miss the opportunity to address a centuries-old cancer birthed out of the myth of white supremacy. We've seen it countless times throughout history, most notably with Venus and Serena Williams, and even with Michelle Obama. The pattern of Black women having their gender, their sexuality, even their humanity questioned, sensationalized, attacked, and mocked for not fitting into the Western mold of white femininity. Semenya's case has this particular brand of racism written all over it. From the moment it was announced in 2009, when she was just 18 years old, that she had been ordered to undergo gender verification testing, to her mishandled test results that somehow were leaked to the press, to the gross inhumanity that followed with her body being dissected, scrutinized, and mocked as though it did not belong to a human being. The fact that days after becoming the 800-meter world champion, the then teenager's body was thrust into the realm of international freak show, with the Australian media outlet, the Daily Telegraph, posting a story with the deplorable headline, "Caster Semenya has male sex organs and no womb or ovaries." It all begs the question, how would things have been handled differently if Semenya was white? Her story draws stirring parallels to that of another South African woman, Sara Baartman, well known in history as the Hottentot Venus. A member of the Khoi people group, Baartman was born in the 1770s and in 1810 was brought to Europe by a British surgeon. For the next 5 years of her life, she was paraded around in freak shows in London and in Paris. Crowds paid a fee and were invited to look at her large buttocks and were told of her remarkable genitals. In Europe, she was believed to be more ape than human, or a kind of beastly figure barely capable of emotion or intellect. These primitive ideas held about her helped to shape the Western concept of women, women's sexuality, African peoples, and race. French ethnologist Arthur de Gobineau wrote of her in his well-known 1855 essay on the inequality of the human races. The racial theories outlined in this piece of writing had an enormous influence on the development of modern racism in the decades leading to spectacle lynchings in the southern United States and the Holocaust. After Baartman's untimely death in 1815, her body was dissected, a plaster cast was made of her figure, and her brain and sexual organs were preserved and remained on display at Musée de l'Homme in Paris until 1974. Following the end of apartheid in 1994, President Nelson Mandela requested that the French government return her remains so she could be laid to rest. The process took an astounding 8 years. But in 2002, she was finally returned to her homeland, and on South Africa's Women's Day, on August 9th of that year, she was committed to the ground in an official ceremony. Whether used as a symbol of racial inferiority, or by the 1980s and 90s as a symbol of our shameful racist colonial history, Baartman's story has taken center stage in international politics. Sound familiar? While the gender controversy in sport may be complicated, we can all agree that treating others the way that we want to be treated is pretty basic. When the delicate matter of a teenager's medical records are not treated with the utmost care and confidentiality, When a person's body is being analyzed and dissected because some are fascinated by the other, or because it doesn't measure up to Eurocentric ideals. When people in parts of the world are used as medical guinea pigs to test the latest theories in pharmaceutical products, where's the humanity in all of that? Caster Semenya, like Sara Baartman, is a person that loves and is loved, who has a family, friends, and the right to a free will, privacy, and due process. A person with not just a body, but with a mind, a heart, a soul, and a spirit. We need to guard against objectifying human beings because we might not understand their skin color or their body type or their hair texture or any other part of their anatomy. People are not objects. The world is complex with many holding opposing beliefs, but only when we keep each other's humanity at the forefront of our thinking are we going to be able to have the type of meaningful discourse that can really ignite the change our world needs. Thanks for watching Color Commentary. Interested in the way sport and social change intersect? Why not subscribe to this channel and follow me at Wendy-Ann Runs on Twitter and Instagram.